So, all y'all have been asking me all week what I'm going to be doing for the talent show. And I've been rudely keeping it a secret. I've even had our friendship threatened over this. So, not really. Okay. What? Okay, so, only a few of you really know what I'm going to do. Only because I love you a lot. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so, I am going to be doing stand-up comedy for you guys tonight. So yeah, a lot of you know, like, I'm a kind of a goofy person. Like, I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. I've always been kind of like that class clown mixed with the troublemaker. Or, trust me, I repented since then. Made covenants. Anyways, my dad introduced me to some comedy crews when I was like 16 years old, like the Blue Collar Crew, Gabriel Iglesias, John Panette, Jim Gaffigan. And then when I joined the church, my friend Savannah introduced me to a much cleaner comedian named Brian Regan, which all y'all love and know. Anyways, so growing up, my dad, he is eternally stuck in the 70s and 80s. So my childhood idols were not S Club 7 and Eric Carter, like all these cool people. I grew up loving people like John Candy and Robin Williams, and Steve Martin, all those cool people, Chevy Chase, like the old school SNL guys. Like, those are who I had on my wall, like, creepy enough as that was, me being like 6 years old. Anyways, so my dad introduced me to some really cool comedians growing up, and I've just always, like, been really good at cheering people up, and that's been something I've really loved. So when I heard that there was a talent show, I thought, hey, why not try my hand at comedy? If you guys don't like it, oh well. If you do, great. Then I got to do it in front of some people that I really, truly love. Okay, so supposed to be what, Eric?
Laughing, not being sad.
Gushy, lovey-dovey. All that crap I'm not really good at. You know, I'm a girl. Anyways, okay. So, growing up, my dad used to always get really mad at me because of my love for animals. Not because it existed, but because of how intense it was. Like, it still is really intense. Like, and so, like, I remember when I was like 8 years old, we were watching the movie The Patriot, Mel Gibson. Like, I don't know if you guys know. It's the Civil War. Like, it's intense. Like, it's brutal. And so they don't have tanks and all that stuff. It's the flippin' Civil War. So they use horses, of course, and I'm just like, I would be sitting there crying, watching these horses getting killed in battle, and I'm just like, in my 8-year-old mind, this was really happening right then and there. And it would just bring me to such great tears, like, and my dad would just be like, stop crying, like, it's not really happening. And I'd just be like, Dad, like, so hard, like, and then he was like, I'm gonna turn the movie off if you don't stop, or you're gonna have to go to your room or something. Anyways, so yeah, like, little did he know that was like the beginning of a lifelong battle between him and I. And like, seriously, like, he had like a straight up intervention with me one time, like, you can love animals, just stop loving them so much. Then later when I joined the church, I realized it was because animals don't have agency. We have agency, but they don't. So I kind of used that against him, and he was like, what? And I was just like, take the missionary lessons, I don't know. Anyway, so like, there were 3 things that I did when I was a little kid that my dad really, really hated, and I mean, he still really does hate because I still do them. Number 1, I would play Hobbit. Some of you know. Number 2, I'll get to that in a second. Number 2, I am the female equivalent of Ace Ventura. Please tell me you guys know who Ace Ventura is. Yeah. Okay. And I didn't like to brush my hair. I still don't like to brush my hair. You're lucky I did it today. No, I'm just kidding. So, like, adding those 2 up, and me having grown up in San Diego, and having had like a whole bunch of animals myself growing up, and you know, playing in the backyard and just capturing all these animals. Let me just ask you a few things. Me having grown up from San Diego, what are some really big things to do in San Diego?
Zoo!
San Diego Zoo and SeaWorld, of course. So father-daughter bonding time was going to Like, honestly, it's your fault, Daddy-O. Like, going to the zoo every week, it's your fault that I love animals so much. Anyways, so, yeah, the 3 things that I did that really used to tick my dad off, you know, and playing Hobbit, hopefully you guys have all caught on to that, running around barefooted, being the female equivalent to Ace Ventura, and never brushing my hair. So, living in San Diego, there was Balboa Park. Balboa Park's a really, really cool park to go to. It's ginormous. Like, the zoo is in Balboa Park. That's how huge Balboa Park is. And so, you know, there was the beach, and I lived in kind of a woodsy part of the town called La Mesa. And so there was a lot of really good parks to go to. And so there I would be outside, barefooted, my hair not brushed, and me out there, either out at the beach or in the backyard with my arms spread. Come to me, my jungle friends. I'm excited that I'm around all these animals, and my dad would just be like, go inside and put your shoes on, brush your hair, get inside. Just be like, he'd be standing there looking at me while I'm out there playing with the lizards and the bugs and all that stuff, wondering where the heck I got this freak streak from. Me out there looking like I just licked an electric fence. Messed up and crazy. Like, yeah, there was no taming me, like, honestly. Like, it was kind of intense. So anyways, having grown up, really enjoying animal documentaries and having pets myself, like in my sophomore year, I got to go to Catalina Island to go to the Marine Biology Institute that they have there. Totally cool, totally like set on fire my love for animals. Like, it was really intense. So like, I've got to see a lot of really cool things, and I've got to see a lot of really funny things. So the name of my act tonight is called Animal Logic and the Lack Thereof versus Human Logic and the Lack Thereof. So in my studies, which I've done just for fun, yes, I'm not weird, I have discovered that the male of whatever species, most species, is usually a lot prettier than the female. Like guppies. Like, you ever see guppies and they're like really pretty? Yeah, that's the dude. Okay, so the girl's the little ugly one on the side. Peacocks. Like, peacocks, the guys are the ones that have the big tail, the big pretty tail. The girls, they got nothing. So, like, I was thinking, what if we were to trade logic, trade how we act and how we present ourselves. Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and I just kind of thought, like, okay, what if it was the guys' turn to doll themselves up and get to herd eat every day? Yeah! They looked good, and they smelled good, and they were pretty, right? Yeah. Like, I heard that, yeah, you're good, okay. Like, what if it was their turn, huh? Like, what if we were the ones that didn't have to look like anything? Like, ducks, for instance. Girl ducks, they're brown. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, they're nothing. Like, they're pretty. But the boys, they have the pretty blues and the pretty greens and the pretty whites and pearly and flat, you know, like wild dudes. So what if it was your, like, okay, so I saw this documentary where there was this bird, this species of bird, I don't really remember, some bird plane. And the dude would have to make the nest and make it look pretty, and this twig has to be this way, and this twig has to be that way. While the girls just all go around like, hey, let me check this out. Let me see, really? You failed, brother, you failed. And so the guys like beat themselves up by making this nest pretty, because that's where they will start the family. That's where the family will be started. So of course it's up to the woman to decide. And I just started thinking, like, I watch my roommates get ready, and I see myself get ready, like, every day, and it's just like, when is it the guy's turn, right? Well, I just say, like, prim and herded and all that stuff. Like, seriously, like, it takes us, like, freaking 2 hours just to brush our hair, and obviously I don't know what that's like, but... So yeah, that just got me to thinking, like, what if we switched logic with animals? So it got me thinking to another thing, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about differences, and then I'm going to go to similarities, and I promise I'll try to wrap it up quick. And so, the other night, I was watching America's Funniest Home Videos on YouTube, And I think y'all know how easy it is to get to the weird part of YouTube. Weird part where you're just like, I was just trying to look at puppies. I don't know, mommy, please help me. Anyway, so like, I got to the weird part of YouTube. All I was trying to do was laugh, like, Anyway, so I came across this video of cats fighting, and it was really weird. And I was sitting there watching it, and like these cats, I'm not a cat person. Like I love animals and I love cats, but I don't think I'd ever own a cat. And, Cats are awesome. They are, but not for me. I'm a dog person. Okay, so I was watching this video of these cats fighting, and they just were like, kind of puffing themselves up a little bit and getting in each other's faces, and it wasn't as nearly as violent as I thought it would be. Like I hear them in the alley and I'm like, dang, you don't have a face anymore. Jeez, I don't want to see what that kitty looks like. And so they just kind of like leaned in real close to each other and kind of like puffed themselves up and just like growled, and I'm like, oh, that's evil sounding. Like, and it just kept getting louder and louder, like Satan himself was stepping on these cats' tails. I was so confused. So anyways, like, I thought, what if we fought like that? Like, you know, in my experience as being an adult and all that, I've been really mature about dealing with problems with people, and I haven't really gotten all ghetto and all that, like most people I know. So, like, I mean, I figured, like, what if we fought like that? What if we just, like, what if we got in a fight right now? And I just kind of, like, leaned into you and was just like, I'm angry! I'm angry! So angry! And just left it at that. Like, what? Like, animal logic, I just don't get it. Like, okay, so that's enough of the differences. I'm going to kind of go into the similarities. So this is where I'm going to introduce my youngest brother, Levin, and my dog, Ruby, into the story of my life and all that. So my youngest brother, Levin, he and I are 5 years apart. And my dog, Ruby, I got her when I was 10, and bless her soul, she's like the fountain of youth. She's like 12 years old and still looks like a puppy. And I think that's really cool. So, yeah, when my little brother and I were little, my dad, let me tell you a little bit about Ruby first. Ruby, she's a rescue, she's a mutt, she's a ginger, like straight up, like my dog has no soul. Like, it's kind of scary. But, sorry, I do love gingers, I love her to death. Like, she's my girl, and she has red fur, and I think it's really cool. And she's a mutt, so she's really even more awesome. Like, and so, she's getting old, and when I got my first job, I decided that I wanted to buy her some toys. And like a nice pet, like I just started spoiling her, because she's getting older, and I was like, most dogs get to have nice stuff like this, and you don't, so I'm gonna get it for you. And so I bought her like these really nice toys, and I pulled them out of the bag, and the receipt fell on the ground. The receipt, so simple, right? I show her the toy, and she's like, and she looks down at the receipt. She goes ballistic, like, oh, paper, and she started playing with it and chewing it, and I'm like, I spent $10 on this one toy for you, and you're gonna play with yours. I could have gone to the store for free and just said, let me just take some of that. My dog, like, and so like, to make the comparison, my dog, she's really easily entertained and really easily, like, it doesn't take a lot to make her happy. Whereas, I'm going to make the comparison between her and my little brother and I. My little brother and I, when he was 5, I was 10, my dad decided to get a new refrigerator. And those things come in big boxes, right? So my dad's like, okay, guys, you got to go into the room. You know, there's going to be a lot of people in here bringing this in. Like, so okay, we go into the room, and like an hour later, he says, you guys can come out. And so we come out, and we're looking, and we're like, okay, cool, yeah, the refrigerator, all right. And then so my dad's like, why don't you go check out what's in the garage? And we see this guy, like one of the like heavy carrier duty guys, come in with this big box, and he puts it on the ground. And my brother and I are just standing there taken back, like God was giving us this gift himself. Oh, we both look at each other like, that's a big box. Yeah. That thing entertained us for like 6 months. We played that thing into the ground. It was a house, it was a spaceship, it was a boat. We pretended to be hobos out on the street with it. Pissed. Hobos get in the house. Like, you look like one since you don't brush your hair and you're brown, but anyway, so my parents are white, which is why that makes it so much funnier. My white parents decided to adopt 2 little brown kids. Anyways, so my little brother and I had fun with this box. Like, we didn't care that we got a new fridge. Where Ruby had Ruby had fun with this receipt. She didn't care that I just spent 10 freaking bucks on one squishy toy for her. Like, she didn't care. And neither did we. So I'm like, okay, like, there's a comparison. That's kind of funny, like, mostly because, like, that was my childhood. And now, the second comparison that I'm going to make, and I promise I'm going to wrap this up real quick, I'm not taking a long time. But the second comparison I'm going to make is, in the animal kingdom, one is not afraid to devour their young. And, it's kind of sad to admit, but it's true. And if you're hungry and you're on you're higher up on the food chain, it doesn't matter what you are, because if Dad's hungry, he's gonna eat you. Like, there's just no avoiding it. So I kind of connected that to sibling rivalry. Not as brutal, because my brother's still alive, I promise you. But, so I made that comparison one day when I was thinking about, I'm from San Diego, so San Diego County has like the San Diego County Fair, or if you're from San Diego, it's called the Del Mar Fair. Like, nobody calls it San Diego County Fair unless you're from Utah or something. Anyways, so my brother and I were at the fair with my best friend from high school, and we were like, I walk in, and the Del Mar Fair is huge. Like, it has like 3 buildings the size of a football field just for shopping, like a whole like main street just for food, like 50 barns just for animals for those 4-H weirdo kids to bring in their pets and be like, this is my cow, pet it. And that was me. Like, I was like, okay, I'll pet your cow. Like, I was happy about that. And so, so my little brother and I, at this point, we're already teenagers, and we're like, oh, let's go see the animals first. I was just like, I'm so tired of the animals, just go. So we go, and he goes off shopping, and we walk in, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like there was like a petting zoo, there was a piggy and a llama, and I like llamas, but I like piggies more. So my little brother walks in, and with me, he's like, cool, like, we're just so excited. Like, my little brother has that animal lover streak in him too, but he just doesn't like to admit it. Like, when I went home for Christmas, he was like, I heard him in another room, he was like, oh, puppy, oh, cute puppy. Like, keeping his voice, so I'm like, no, I heard that, I chopped you good, right? You're not a man if you see a puppy, you're like, oh, puppy. Yeah, that puppy's kind of cute, yeah. So, like, that was totally him. So, but when it's just him and I, he's totally not afraid to be like, oh, the animals, like, just like me. So, I'm like, okay, where are you going to go? He's like, I'm going to go see the llamas. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go check out this piggy because he's big and cute, and then I'll come over there. So I go over to the pig, and I'm like poking it and rubbing it and playing with his ears, and I'm like, oh, you little piggy. Like, I was just like, ah. Like, all these moms with their kids are like, all right, like, I'm like 17, 16 at this point, like, look at the pig! Like, cute, like, oh my God, like, so excited. And so, you know, I'm in heaven right now, like, and I'm petting this pig, and I'm like, oh, he's so cute and fuzzy and pink, and then all of a sudden, my joy was shattered by, Mickey! Mickey! And I turn around, and I'm like, what the freak? And I turn around, and like, I see my brother, and I can't, like, my brain is like like, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I see these people like backing up, like, oh my goodness, like, they're like, should we help? Like, who's Mary Kay? And I'm like, oh, and I see this llama decided that he wanted to eat my brother's head. And as I register this, I'm like, oh, that's me. And then I walk towards it, and like, I'm still like, what is happening? Like, to me, it was just a blur. And then I realized, like, my brother, he's like this, like, with his hands around the llama's head, like this, and like I could see his hair slowly being sucked into the llama. And I'm like, I'm laughing. I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm just like, and then I like really like start laughing, because when I'm a nervous laugher, like, ask anybody. Like, I was on Tower of Terror busting my butt off because, oh, we're falling out 10 million feet out of the sky, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm a nervous laugher. So like, I realized truly what is happening, and then I stop, and then I just kind of stare at him. I'm like, cool. And I was like, oh, Daddy, I'm gonna be too happy about this. And so I go up, and the trick is, if you ever want any animal to let go something that's in his mouth, you plug his nose. And I go up, I'm like, And like I start, you know, when you start putting air on their nose and they start getting nervous, and you know, so I'm warning this llama, like, you're not gonna eat his head, you can eat that kid's head, but you're not gonna eat this head is what I'm watching today. Like, so I go up, and before I get the chance to plug his nose, he lets go. My brother is like on the ground, like, my head. I'm like, that's what you get for interrupting my piggy time. Anyways, so, he starts laughing, and he's like, he's cute still, and I'm like, yeah, he's cute when he's not trying to eat your face. Anyways, so we kind of like wrap that up. I'm like, let's not pet any more of the animals because, yeah, next time I'm just not gonna help you. And so we just walk around looking, and you know that I know I've taken a long time, so I'm just kind of wrap it up. But yeah, so you know, I've always had a lot of really good experience, a lot of really bad experiences, but a lot of really good experiences with animals. And you know, someday I hope to like pursue a lifelong career with animals, like maybe like opening up like a rescue shelter or something. And you know, that's just like one of my lifelong dreams. And along with stand-up comedy, like this is something I've always really wanted to do. And I'm really thankful that I got the opportunity to do it in front of you guys, who I love like so much. And I'm really glad that you guys laughed. Even if it was like a pity laugh, I still laughed. So, okay, so yeah.